Okay, well, good morning. If you just joined us, we've been chatting for a bit with Dr. Ronke Bello, publicist and public policy analyst. She's a member of the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC back in the day, now disbanded. And so we've been talking about the stewardship of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's received knocks from quite a few people. He himself has acknowledged that it's a very tough environment, but it looks like the president seems to be enjoying himself in the tough environment. He said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Don't feel sorry for me. It's hard work. That's exactly what I'm here to do, and we shall do it to the best of our ability. So we've been looking at, we've concentrated on the economy. And sorry, Dr. Debo in Abeokuta, Otumba, I beg your pardon, Otumba Debo in Abeokuta, he called in, but the call dropped. Maybe he could call in again. So, Ronke, as we were saying, talking about relationships now, in terms of his stewardship, talking about his relationship with the National Assembly, the point was not lost on quite a number of people that talking about this, the national anthem thing that we were talking about, that the alacrity reminds me of a word from back in the day, with which they agreed to it and put it on the president's desk, and he himself wasted no time. There are those who have observed, if not criticized, that speed. And I've said that, hang on, if that was the speed of light that we were using on a lot of other things, we'd be in a good place. Again, let this be something of a commentary bit on his relationship with the National Assembly as part of his stewardship.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, I will call you Uncle Yori because you're a mentor to several of us in this industry. So the truth is Nigerians were actually, let me say, shocked because the speed by which that was passed and it was assented into law by the president was remarkable. I mean, that should go into the Guinness Book of Records. One is a good thing that there is a fantastic working. Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Kennedy just called in, so let me take Kennedy so we don't miss his call. We've already missed Otumba Debo's call. Right. So good morning, Kennedy.
Okay.
Morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Great topic you're having today. Okay, already, to my own side, I have to be very realistic about this. All this thing about this national anthem, Uncle Yori, we have a big problem facing our country. People are hungry, people are tired, people are annoyed. To me personally, this issue of bringing back the old national anthem is nothing but a distraction. People are hungry, sir. This is my personal opinion. I don't think, how do you think people will actually come to recite back the old national anthem? I was born in the 60s, and I knew about this national anthem since the 70s. We, at that time, it takes us very hard time to understand how the national anthem, the old national anthem, is all about. But I feel this national anthem, bringing it back, nothing but a distraction. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Kennedy, for calling in. Indeed, that has been, that what you've just expressed has been the sort of, can I say, preponderance of opinion. But the president has also pushed back and said that, you know, on the contrary, it is a priority to his way of thinking. And, you know, but it's been said. You have said what you have said. You are not the only person that feels that way. What Mr. President has said that, you know, he sees merit in it. And besides, it's not me. It's the law. It's the National Assembly. If they didn't agree, nothing could have been done. But thank you very much for your observation. In fact, a lot of people have been annoyed, so annoyed that they've carried on in public in a surprising manner in public, shall we just say. But back to you, Dr. Bello. I interrupted you.
Yes, okay. Yes, well, it flows because we were talking about his relationship with the parliament, and it's been fantastic. They're all working together. And still on the national anthem, you see, Nigerians, we need to start asking some deep questions. It was passed by the National Assembly, the two houses, the Senate and the House of Reps. Every Nigerian has a member in the House of Reps representing them and in the Senate. I mean, those are even the people we should be asking. They passed it into law. The president assented. Yes, the president, being the leader and a true leader, has said, yes, I want it and I've done it. But have we asked the questions? Because I read just yesterday one very intelligent question, that when was the public sitting done where it was agreed? Because let's not forget, we're running a democracy. So dutifully, I think I will place that on the steps of the National Assembly, even more than the steps of the president. Because if there was a public sitting where it was agreed by Nigerians that it should be changed, then where was it held? Who informed us? At what point did Nigerians agree? So the National Assembly also has to do its own part. Like we said, we are calling on state governors, the local government to do their part. So the other arms of government also have to do their part. We have the executive, we have the legislative, we have the judiciary. So the legislative too should please come closer to Nigerians. After all, we voted them to be in the hallowed chambers. And things as important as this, there should have been massive awareness, massive public sitting where every Nigerian has a voice, so that this does not come suddenly and then, yes, instead of taking it out on them, now we're taking it out on the president. So I think in future, even it's not late, let's have a public sitting for the records, even though they've passed it. So Nigerians will feel we need to be part of our government, yes.
Indeed. So, it's like a divided house. There are those who don't mind it. There are those who are vehemently against it. There are those who are annoyed by it. Who was my caller who called in and was quite annoyed about it. And, there's no shortage of those ones. But good morning, Mr. George.
They have a right to that.
And they have a right to feel that way about it. Is it your priority?
Yes.
Is that our priority? Is the question that a lot of people are asking. And at least Mr. President, for one, has said that, yeah, as a matter of fact, it is a focus for me, me just being one person, me just being a citizen who has a right to an opinion. But there's no way you can ignore the opinions of a lot of people who have commented on the issue. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for holding on.
To our guest, the lady.
Yes, Dr. Ronke Bello.
Yeah, kindly permit me to comment on this national anthem and the communications.
Sure.
There is a saying that there is no wrong time to do the right thing. When people are saying that people are hungry and the national anthem is not our priority, yes, people are hungry, but it doesn't mean that we should not think straight again. The point is that if you listen to the wordings of the old national anthem that has been adopted now, you will see that the wordings are more appropriate to the situation in Nigeria, both the past and the present. People need to, before you react, you need to get facts of the situation. Who wrote the anthem is immaterial. But what the anthem is saying is what matters to Nigerians. You saw what the 2023 elections did to Nigeria. You see what resetting the country by the president is doing to Nigeria. And our unity is at stake. Our progress is at stake. Go back to the words of this newly adopted national anthem and compare it to the past one, and then ask yourself which one is more relevant to true Nigeria. That's the question. People should do that before you just come to the public to say it's not relevant. When are you not going to be hungry? People will be hungry at any given point in time. That is the truth. In America, people are hungry. In London, people are hungry too. We have to, look at things constructively before we condemn.
Indeed.
Secondly, Uncle Yori,
okay.
Our speaker talked about communication from the government. And she said that...
She actually scored them good.
Yes, and she said the National Orientation Agency is doing well. Well, I beg to differ, on that one. National Orientation Agency, I don't even know who is the director as we speak now. That is to tell you that we don't hear from them. I am of the view that with the emergence and what is being done on social media today by our youth and politicians who are using it as a medium of misinformation in order to score one point or the other. The government should be debunking information on a daily basis. And the way, to me, to do that is to be holding daily public briefings, press briefings as is done in the U.S. So that when lies are told, when false narratives are made in the social media, people, on the other hand, will know what the truth is from the press briefing that is being done. The woman that is frying akara and, like the madam said, they will hear it from these same people that peddles wrong information to them, that there is a counter version of the story. So this is just a recommendation I think the government should consider. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for your comments. So, Ronke, going back to the matter, I think the point was made by the last caller. I can't even remember. Was he in support? Okay. What Mr. George was saying in there, it's a contentious area in the sense that, look, this thing now comes down to, if you want, literary appreciation. People looking at the words and doing an appreciation, a literary. And there are those that the words of Nigeria we hail, they resonate. And the rise of compatriot, so I've seen some analysis. Maybe you can begin to split hairs. In some reviews, have said that perhaps the rise of compatriot has, something of a more slightly militaristic kind of a tinge. And, there are those who, but as I said, this is a thing that it depends on the eye of the beholder, or in this case, the musical ear. But it's in terms of the president's point of view, and it's just one. The National Assembly, as you were saying, is there. All those people could have scuttled it, but they didn't. And so here we are, and maybe we shouldn't make too much of it in the sense that it has become law. But that is not to belittle the point you made that, wait a minute, where was the public hearing for this held? Because every instrument like this that is going to become law necessarily has to have, 3 public hearings, something like that? I think first reading, second reading, and then maybe third reading, and then it goes to the presidency. Sorry. Am I being told that someone is on the air? Is there a call? Kesandu. Good morning, Mr. Kesandu. Kesandu, good morning to you, sir.
Yes. Good morning, Uncle. Good morning to Doc.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Uncle, let me continue on the national anthem conversation.
It was supposed to be a small part, so that we can go to the economy, but carry on.
Come back.
Go on.
The truth about it, like Doc rightly said, see, some of us are no longer comfortable with the way our National Assembly members operate. And they knew Nigerians were going to vehemently reject their move. That is why they had to do what they did, sharply. That is just the truth. And the question is, I think for every law or anything you're bringing into the country, what is the sole purpose of that? As lawmakers, we will not check, have a scale of preference. What issue is this change of national anthem going to solve in the current quagmire we have found ourselves in the country? You understand? That's why so many people are being skeptical about.
But Kesandu, there are those who have said that even within the challenges that we find ourselves, I mean, a number of things can be going on simultaneously. That's not my thought. It's not a fresh thought from me. There are, people who have reviewed it and have said that. You think that...
Uncle Yori,
yes.
I agree. Yes, we can be having a whole lot of things simultaneously, but those things should be things that should alleviate the sufferings and pains of the common Nigeria. Uncle Yori, let me tell you, there was one thing I just learned from Buhari's administration. They said, change begins with me. Can this change begin with our members of the National Assembly? All this whole brotherhood we stand? No, they will not start the change there. So that's just the thing. But let me say on the assessment of Mr. President.
Yes.
I am most comfortable about one thing that he has done. And I want Mr. President to follow it to the letter. You see this bill he has raised, this lawsuit he has raised against state governors to make sure that they don't joke with the third tier of the government. They're most important. Tell Mr. President that Nigerians are proud of him and we're going to support him. But on the other way around, a whole lot of things are not really moving the way we want it. Mr. President should sit up and make us understand. For some of us who didn't vote for him, He's the president of the country, but he must make us understand that probably those that voted for him, they were not wrong. But for now, I can tell you most Nigerians are not really comfortable. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Yeah, that last point, when you use the word comfortable, that would affect a lot of Nigerians not having that state of mind. They're not comfortable. How can you be? Food inflation is where it is. General inflation is where it is. It's a fact acknowledged by the president. In fact, he said as much as Ronke that I feel your pain, and he sort of counseled. He's counseled that look, it's an unavoidable situation, but that we're going to come out of it. To which Nigerians respond, after we are dead, you know, if they're going to be melodramatic about it, is it after we are dead, who are from hunger and not being able to, you know, my income won't take me home. Labor, as you know, is up in arms. And so the president, he finds himself in the midst of a raging storm, so to speak. But I think to his credit, he doesn't seem like he's cowed. It doesn't seem like any of this is cowing him. He keeps on saying that, look, I hear you, I understand you, I even appreciate the way you're feeling, but we just cut us some slack. Between him and his team, it's going to get better. Not everybody is disposed, you know, Ronke, you probably know, to take that with any kind of empathy, because what it is that we're Nigerians. I just know that what my 5,000 naira was doing before you came, it's not even doing, it's not doing it again. That 5,000, to get that 5,000 naira's worth, I'm now spending 10, maybe even 12, if not 15,000 naira. So, and this is part of his stewardship. But so does it speak to the courage of the man that we don't see him cowed yet?
The good thing is Nigerians are speaking, and it's good we're speaking, because we need, I mean, this is our country, these are our lives. So Nigerians are people that we're very good at calling out leaders, that you've done this wrong, we want this done. So that is good. And that is something that every leader or anyone who aims to lead Nigeria should take in good faith. Because after all, leadership is about trust. And after a while, when the people have given their trust over and over again and things don't seem to be getting better, that trust is lost. For starters, the current president came on renewed hope. That means there was a hope that needs to be renewed. We agree. Yes, for Nigerians. In fact, for any, let me say, any human being, humanity in itself, the moment you can't afford the basics, the moment things that should be given, like probably electricity, water supply, food, clothing, housing, being able to pay school fees for your children that are taken away, that's almost like stripping that human being naked. So every leader needs to take that seriously. But like you said, the president has said it consistently, his team has said it consistently, that yes, for some reasons, which they've given, the economists have been out there, things might be bumpy and things might be a bit rocky. But the good thing is, I know I love what we read about CBN, we love what the Minister of Finance is saying. Even just a few days ago on the sister television station, he railed out a lot that will be done in quick time, hopefully, to make things better for Nigerians. And that is where we are. Another thing I'd like to point out is where are the regulatory bodies? Because this is getting a bit alarming. You go to the market today to buy tomato, for example, it's 10,000 per basket. Next 1 hour is 15,000. And I wonder, do people just sit there and put prices? We might even say, okay, what has dollar, which even the tomato seller will quote, what has dollar and naira got to do with selling tomatoes? But yes, she had to go to the farm, get it. She has to use fuel, petrol to bring it to the market. But all those things are there. But like I said, I think sincerely, every arm of government, every department, ministry, agency of government should arise and work. And this will take a lot of heat off the center or Mr. President. We have a regulatory agency there. We intend to, we would love to see them in the markets. Can you help us go to the market, see why the prices are changing per minute, per second, I mean, this is not fair on Nigerians. And if I could dive into that a little, well, just coming out of the labor strike, well, the good thing is we're all labor, because somehow, well, most of us, except the retiree or the kids in school, everybody's working, so we're all labor. And some might criticize what they're doing, but that is part of the society. I mean, a leader's ear must ring with the voices of the people. A leader must hear what he needs to hear, not what he wants to hear. So kudos to Labour. Well, some might say they shouldn't really go overboard, because when they do, truly, it's we the poor Nigerians that suffer. It's we Nigerians that can't have lights in our houses. Most Nigerians can't afford to have generators. They can't have the other alternate source of powers. So the ordinary Nigerian suffers. But I think the point has been made by Labour. The listening government of President Tinubu has given, I think, 2 days to the minister on top of it to come out with something agreeable. And hopefully that will be agreeable. And let's move Nigeria forward. We need actually to be in a hurry to fix Nigeria. So I think everybody should play their part and get the goodies to the citizens as quick as possible.
Okay. You know, you started off by saying, you know, at the top of the program that 1 year is probably not enough to get a conclusive sort of a viewpoint. And, you know, a lot of people will say, yep, but it is enough to sort of give an indication if morning shows the day, as they say. So how long do you think would be, you know, a period when we can say at this stage, what is it, like 2 years? Is it like 3 years? Because certainly there must be something to show towards the end of this particular term in order to be able to kick off a second term if the president is interested. So how long do you think would be a reasonable timing for us to be able to say, well, we now see that either, okay, we take it back and we now see that, well, we see where your optimism was coming from, or things are not getting any better. When do you think that mark would be? Where would you put it?
Well, Uncle Yori, you're trying to put me on the spot here. But I would just say this. As a policy analyst, let's look at it this way. From the time a policy is formulated to the time of its implementation, and then you can, like we say, you can track, you can measure, and then you, of course, you now start looking at the input and the output. Let's have it this way. Now it's 1 year. Yes, they've started. I mean, the clock started ticking last year, 29th. So the race has begun. I mean, we're in the middle of the race. Nobody's going to run away from the race. And I'm sure the president and his immediate team knows that, yes, the clock is already ticking. Now we've done 1 year. Yes, there are a lot of things happening. Can we just say, okay, now we're going into rainy season? You see, some things are tied to seasons. I mean, let me not quote the Bible, but some things are tied to seasons. Now we're going into the full wet season, rainy season, where the farmers really farm. Okay, at the end of this year, can we have a look again at what's happening to foodstuffs and items?
All right, let me let you off the hook. I agree that was a bit unfair of me. Let me bring in Shegun in the UK. Good morning, Shegun. Thank you for calling in. Shegun in the UK. Good morning. Oh dear. Good morning, Shegun in the UK. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. I'll just go straight to the point.
Sure.
Let us start about leadership. When you set a good precedent, others necessarily follow you. When you set a bad precedent, others also follow you. Let us start from the issue about salary. How does a situation arise when people say the NAS members, especially the House of Senate and the House of Reps, get 36 million and 25 million when the minimum wage is 30,000? How do they arrive at that? What statistics give them the right to say that is the principle? And if you cannot justify that, what made you think others will not behave
Segun, I'm afraid the line isn't the best that it could be. So I had a difficulty in hearing, but I think I'm so sorry. It wasn't clear to me. But I think there was something about expenditure on the National Assembly and how they came up with such things. I'm so sorry. The line was poor. Ronke, let me, in closing now, because we've just about run out of time, let me see what you think about the president's stewardship in relation to the fight against corruption. That has been something that Nigerians have spoken about. What do you think? Has the president done anything that is noteworthy to you, commendable in your eyes?
Well, the good thing is the corruption agencies are there. We have the ICPC and we have the EFCC. And I think what we can give kudos to for this administration, I won't even like to say the president, because these are meant to be independent bodies, but although government-owned bodies. I think the good thing is they have the independence to pursue on the issues of corruption. We've not heard anywhere, read anywhere that the president was calling them to order to stop investigations. They have their own rules and they're following their task. They're going on with anti-corruption war, and I think so far so good. Because there seems to be almost zero interference to what they're doing, which is good enough. But I think, just in closing, to quickly say this, corruption, what we normally fight in Nigeria is fiscal, financial corruption. But we forget that the person that takes bribe, the taxi drivers that takes my money and does not get me to where I want to go, that's our corruption. The woman selling gari, and instead of 1 mudu, she gives me half. That's corruption. Yeah. So we should define it in the broader term. But right now, I think the agencies are doing well.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Ronke Bello, thank you very much for coming on, having this interesting conversation. Some of it contentious, no doubt, but publicist and public policy analyst. Appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.